I didn't say successfully, I said victoriously. Because you can successfully move through a situation, but not get the victory out of it. And the way to get the victory is to understand.
Hello, Carrollton, Texas. In today's news, there is a 2-year-old trapped inside a house fire. The fire was started by the father's girlfriend who set the father's bed on fire while he was sleeping. The father managed to rescue 4 of the 5 children who were inside. As it remains, there is still a toddler trapped inside the home. There are firefighters and first responders on the scene. I don't know how this is going to turn out. We will keep you posted on the latest as the story develops. Reporting for Good News 1, I'm Sherry Jones.
Thanks everybody again for watching our Overcomer channel and the series After the Fire. Just want to do a wrap up. We've covered a lot of territory. We have laughed, we have cried, we have looked into some situations that were pretty kind of dark and a little grim, but in the end, we know God always wins and always takes care of us and shows our family the mercy and the grace that we need to move through every situation in our life. And so he has done the same for me. As we started out in this conversation, we went through the fire, the circumstances that started the fire, the fire itself, the court case, the aftermath, the healing time, the process of healing, and then just the breakdown and recovering from family and moving through from that point. So the next question is, what happens from here, right? So now what I normally do is every day I wake up, I thank God for this life, for allowing me to just be here. I do a lot of sound healing and different types of meditation to maintain a good spirit or a good level of peace in my life. And of course, I still, I don't bring in too much drama or bring in too many people that can cause disruption into my life or that would cause me to stumble or revert back to some of the behaviors or create situations in my life that would cause me to have to overcome them or that would create obstacles. I just generally try to maintain a good level of insight, a good level of consciousness, stay away from fear and anxiety and depression and anything that would cause that. Generally, I watch a lot of good TV. I watch a lot of, inspirational music and try to stay around inspirational people. And I really created this circle around me of people who genuinely support me with no agendas, with no angles. And it's been a really blessed and a really great life. I try to minister to people as I come in contact with them. God has blessed me to talk with so many people who have had to overcome very similar obstacles or problems with their marriages or problems with dealing with a loss or just being stuck in a certain situation and not being able to move past it emotionally or in some cases just physically, not being able to move through those situations can be very, very difficult. So I bless as many people as I can, and those that I can't, I just pray. I pray for them dearly, and it works out. God really continues to bless every single day of my life. I have been fortunate enough to take a lot of my abilities that I have and put them towards businesses and create an income around the gifts that God has given me and the things that I absolutely love to do. And it's been a blessing. It's really been a blessing. And what I've learned is when we look through the lenses of God, we see things differently. And a lot of times we hear from different people, why do bad things happen to good people? Or, Why are the young taken so early? And why does God do that? And when you look at the bigger picture of everything, you realize that we're a very small equation in a very large world. I mean, if you look at the trees and the grass and the seas and the fish that all have to be fed and nurtured and taken care of on a daily basis, you really start to understand how small we are and how absolutely ignorant it is to think that we can put what we want in front of God and expect Him to bless it and expect Him to do it. Where we're here to do God's will. We're here to do, the purpose we've been set out to do. And I'm sure you've heard this term that there's so many million sperm that were traveling through the canal to the urethra through the urethra, through the urethra to the canal to fertilize the egg inside your mom. And you were the egg that were chosen. And I was the egg that were chosen. So when you look at how grand things are and how chosen and how specific everything had to be for you to come into this life and for you to just take a breath of air right at this very moment, how things have to line up, how the universe has to line up, how the sun has to be in the right place, how the sky has to be right, how the clouds have to be placed in the sky accurately, and how time has to allow us to even be able to take advantage of another breath. This is a very big picture. And I came to realize that my perception of life was completely wrong. And once I was able to re-understand or reprogram my mind of what life really is and how precious it really is and how significant it is. And there are other people who have gone through the same things that I have gone through, and they're not sane, they're not healthy, they're not whole, and in some cases they're not alive. You really realize how important things are, and that in this grand picture of life, part of life is death, and part of death is life. So we can't mourn too long. We can't sob in sorrow too long. We can't live in regret too long. It is definitely human nature, but it's not human nature to waddle. What is also human nature is to overcome. And resilience. It is human nature. So don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty for moving on. Don't feel guilty for healing up and understanding. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty for understanding that it's life. And I was glad that I was afflicted, and I was glad to have the time that I had with the individuals that I lost to help shape me and mold me to who I am today. And that's part of the grand picture of everything, is we can't be shaped and molded into the great beings that we have been called here to be unless we go through circumstances, unless we go through trials, unless we go through tribulations. But we've got to come out victorious. And the way to do that is knowing the tools necessary to move through complicated situations victoriously. I didn't say successfully, I said victoriously. Because you can successfully move through a situation, but not get the victory out of it. And the way to get the victory is to understand what happened, why it happened, when it happened, and where we go from here. And once you understand that, you can take all of that pain and all of that hurt and all of that sorrow and all of that depression and throw it out the window, because it will not help you move forward. It will only help you see the gold nuggets inside the situation that will help make you better so that you can move forward, but you cannot move forward with it. You must let it go. It's an absolute must. So in this wrap up, I want to share just a few things that allowed me to not just move through life a little bit smoother or with better understanding, but some things that allowed me to become a victorious person and be rich in spirit all the time. Yes, I said all the time. So there is a misunderstanding that we have been programmed to think in life. And one of those things are we must understand that trouble doesn't last always. It doesn't, guys. I know it seems like it, but in the 40 years of my life in ministry, in a large family of about 16 siblings, and in just life and career, working in corporate for 15 years, being an entrepreneur for the last 10 years, I have understood trouble does not last always. So we have to go forward knowing that no matter what trouble that we come into, it's going to pass, right? And there are those people who will tell you, well, nothing is good all the time. And I want to challenge that. I want to challenge that everything is good all the time. And why is it good all the time? Because the God we serve does not make a mistake. So everything that happens in our life had to happen. It had to. The breakup had to happen. The divorce had to happen. The child dying had to happen. The parent dying had to happen. It has to happen. And not only for us, but because God has a purpose for those individuals too. God has a purpose for himself, and he has to make sure that things line up in the world to accomplish his mission also. So it's not a mistake. It is an unfortunate misunderstanding that we think that things should go a certain way. And we have to understand that we have to seek God to find out the way things should go, and not go in our head and think what we think in our head is right. Because I will tell you this, your mind is very seldom right. It's very seldom right. And I know that's very difficult to hear, but your thoughts and your mind is very seldom right. And if you understand that there is so many other facets to this world, so many other variables to this world, so many other people to this world that your mind doesn't think about, your mind will generally only think about yourself. So, with that being said, if you can only think about yourself, you're not being considerate of the other circumstances of the people who are in your life, who are trying to just do the same thing you are, and that's move through this life successfully and try to accomplish the most they can before they die. So, with that being said, everything is working for the good of God, and for the good of those who love God. So we have to get out of our heads and get into God and understand, which way should I go? How should my life be going? And what should I do next? And the best way to understand that is to look at your life and look at everything in your life that's not going right. Everything that you think is not going right. The term we coin wrong. Everything in your life that looks absolutely wrong. I want you to look at those situations, right? And then take that and bundle them up and set them on the side and look at everything else in your life that is happening, right? You may not deem it good, but look at what's happening. And the things that are happening are the things that God is doing every day without your consent, without your approval, and without your plan. And if you look at the things that are going in your life and you redirect your attention and your energy and your focus to the things that are going right, you can completely abandon what you think is wrong. Just abandon it. It doesn't matter. If it's not going right anyway and it's considered wrong, abandon it. Because you know what? If it's going wrong, it is more than likely that you had a plan and it's not going according to your plan, so you deem it wrong. So your plan and your wrong, you can scratch it off. Just throw it away. You don't need it. It's not going anyway. It's not working anyway, right? So with that being said, you can take everything that's going right and pour your energy into that. Push it a little bit more. Make it go right more. Feed it more energy. Give it more attention. Plan inside of the things that are going right in the first place. Okay, I know someone's looking at me with your eyes bucked wide and like, how do we do this? Case in point. If, for instance, I didn't want to have a studio, right? Let's say, for instance, I didn't. And I wanted to be a truck driver, right? And I keep failing the truck driving test. I can't get a truck. I can't find a business to support me or sponsor me. But I want to be a truck driver. And I want it so bad that I'm telling everybody else that it is my goal and my mission to be a truck driver, right? But it's not going right. I can't seem to break into being a truck driver. But for some reason, someone offers me a studio. And I have the ability to acquire the equipment. I have the ability to produce the content. I have the ability to make the music. I have the ability to connect with certain musicians, actors, actresses, voiceover people. I have all of that ability. And some of my friends are that way. Some of the people I know are that way. And it is really set up, if I think about it, but I'm trying to get into being a truck driver, right? So I say, you know what? I'm gonna just do this studio thing until the truck driver thing kicks off, right? That's me pouring energy into what's going, right? So I get in there and I start going and I start doing things and things just get better and blossoming and doing more. And you know what we generally say to ourselves when that happens is, I can't get too caught up here in this studio because I'm trying to be a truck driver. So we tell all our friends and we tell ourselves, look, I'm going to be a truck driver. That's the way it's going to be right now. I'm just doing this because I need to do this. And once I get through this, and once I get up enough money, I'm going to be a truck driver. Why? Because it's more lucrative. And anytime you do anything for money, you will fail. Because money is not enough to keep you going. Because when you do anything, you have to remember, there are times where you are broke. There are times where you are sad. There are times where you are mad. There's times when you don't want to do it. There's times when the industry falls completely apart, and only the love of doing it will keep you going. Money, if times get hard and the money doesn't come from here, you can get money from somewhere else. And if the times get hard over there, you can get money from somewhere else. So you can't do it for the money. You have to do it for the love. of what you do, and because it's a gift that was given to you. And if you don't use it, you will be held accountable. So now the studio thing is going really well, and everybody's coming in, and we're getting more and more work. And it's like, you know what? I can abandon truck driver. I can abandon it and pour more energy into here, and pour more resources into here, and pour more finances over here, because it's already going. And if the goal was money, God wouldn't have given me this gift to use to help all of these other people. So the goal can't be money. The goal has to be people. I heard a great saying one time I was watching an interview from the owner of Starbucks. And he said that his business model changed when he decided to put his feet into the soul of people. Plant your feet and your heart into people. And everything that you do will prosper and it will flourish. But you can't do it for money. You cannot do it for money. And at the rate we are going right now in this country, the dollar is devaluing every single day. So if you do it for money, in a minute, you're not going to have anything worth anything. But if you do it for people, you'll always have people around you to feed the need, to supply reciprocity back to you because you helped them in a hard time. So take that energy and put it into what's already going. Find the things in your life that are already moving successfully, that you didn't even ask for, you didn't know it could possibly happen, you didn't think that it would happen, but it's happening and it's going well. And we have those times in our lives where this may be going bad, but this is going good. And we need to focus our attention on good. In our society, we have been taught to focus on the negative. You ask somebody how they're doing. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it's okay. Some people say, well, if I complain, nobody will listen anyway. Some people say, well, it ain't gonna make any sense to complain because it's not gonna make it any better. Some people say, oh, I don't have any complaints. Some people say, well, this is going this way, it's going that way. I don't know what to do, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Everything is bad. Everything is negative. And we have to change our mindset and not think like the world, not think like everyone else. We have to focus on the fact that we have a God who is rich in spirit, who is rich in love, who is rich in glory, who has all of the gold and the silver and the money and the assets and the land that you could ask for. He has it and he's waiting to give it to me. And all I have to do is line up, and I have to be better at who I am. So we need to focus on the good, right? How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm here. I ran into an old man one time and I said, hey, how's it going? He said, it is great to be on this side of the soil. And I use that from time to time. Some of you know me, and I use that from time to time. My grandfather, every time you'd meet him, every time you see him, hey, Grandpa, how's it going? Oh, I'm doing so good. If I was doing any better, something would be wrong. You got to change it. You have to change what you say because your words are powerful. And we have to exude and use our power every single day in what we think, in what we say, in what we do, in who we deal with, and where we go. We have to use our power and make sure we're around people who bring us more power, who strengthen our bodies, who strengthen our mind, who make us want to do better, who make us want to do more. We have to do that. And when we do that, we create a life that's heaven on earth. Some say that there's heaven once you leave, but there's a lot of us that know that there's heaven right here. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. And I live in a heaven on earth. If you go back all the way to the book of Genesis and the Garden of Eden, where God himself asked Eve, asked Adam, who told you were naked? Before he ate off of the tree, he knew no wrong. He didn't know anything bad. It was a glorious time. And it was right here on earth. He wasn't uplifted and came down. He was right here. The only thing that changed was his perception. And we have to change our perception so that we can go back to the Garden of Eden mentality and say, you know what? I'm not even naked. You can't see my scars unless I tell you. So why tell you? I'm going to throw them away. And I'm going to live this glorious life, and I'm going to focus on all of the great things and all of the good things to come. And I'm going to focus on everything that has already happened that's been great, and know that God will never, ever, ever fail me, because he hasn't failed me. He didn't fail my mom. He didn't fail my siblings. He hasn't failed my friends. He's got a great track record of coming through. He's got a great track record of blessings. He got a great track record of healing. He has a great track record of anointing people to do absolutely amazing things out of nothing. So I don't need to see it. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to talk about it. I just need to go and know that God is going to bless. He's going to continue to bless, and he's going to blow my mind every single time. So be great. Be great. Be great. Have crazy faith. I mean, have a faith that makes everybody look at you and say, you're crazy. And I love it. I love it when people say, you're crazy. You're twisted. Something is wrong with you. I love it, because you know what? I am. I'm crazy about God. I am twisted up in his anointing. Hey, and I am favored in his love. I'm favored in his joy. I'm favored in his peace. And I have everything that I need. I have everything. And I may lose some things here and there, but I have everything else I need. So I encourage you today. So I encourage you today to not only help yourself, but help everybody around you. Help as many people around you as you can. Love them. Pour into them. Be a place of peace for the people around you. Because it not only helps you, but it helps the world. And we need our world to change. We need to do things in a better way, but we need to do things in a godly way. Because there are an opposing force. There is an opposing force that doesn't want that to happen. And the longer we lay docile, and the longer we do nothing, and the longer we don't seek power and understanding of how to do things better, the more the opposing force wins. And we can't sit around and keep saying, oh, it's so dark. Oh, it's so this. Oh, it's so that. Oh, it's so this. We have to do something. We have to get off our hind parts and do something. And unless we do it, the world you know will end. And it will become more dark. So, take this information, share it to everyone you know, share it to anyone you know who's hurting, and be a blessing to someone by showing them how to apply the information. Because information is just information. But once you apply it, it becomes life. So change your life. change the people's lives around you to be better. And I guarantee you're gonna live a life of happiness. You're gonna live a life of luxury. You're gonna live a life of abundance, and no one can stop you because God is the greatest power, and he has never been defeated. I pray that you pray for me and my family and where I go from here. My goal from here is to put more of the information that I know into practice, and hopefully one day visit a stage near you where we can all come together and just have a really good time. Be on the lookout for books. Be on the lookout for apparel. Please subscribe to the page. I have a new website. It's going to be at the bottom of the screen. And I ask that you visit our website and try to get as much information as you can to just help better your life. And if you yourself have a testimony and you would like to capture it on video or have captured it on video and would like us to promote it on our channel, please do, because your testimony will help others. It's kind of like when you go to a good restaurant and you tell somebody else about good food, and then they go and they eat it and they're satisfied and they're thanking you for telling them about that restaurant, because now their life is a little bit better. It's the same thing. There's a great restaurant of God's grace and God's glory, and it's a full buffet, but we've got to let people know where it's located. And it's located right here in our heart, but we've got to open up our heart. We have to soften our heart. We've got to let the walls down, and we've got to stop doing things that are not of God and do the things that are of God, and only do those things. Because when you mix the two, when you do some good and you do some bad, God himself says, I'll spew you out of my mouth because I can do nothing with it. I'd rather that you be hot, or I'd rather you be cold, but don't be lukewarm. We have enough lukewarm people in the world. We need some people who are on fire, who are hot for God. We need some people who don't mind standing up and looking crazy. You look crazy anyway. You're looking crazy when you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. You're looking crazy when you're acting like you're acting. You're looking crazy when you're doing other things. Let's look crazy for doing some great things. Let's look crazy for doing things the absolute right way. Let's look crazy for excellence. Let's look crazy for virtuous. Let's look crazy being virtuous. Let's look crazy being kings and queens that are unstoppable, that have a power that no one has ever seen before. Let's look crazy for God. I hope that you've been encouraged by this message. I hope that it has blessed you and your family in some way. Please donate to our channel. You can donate from the website, and you can also donate via the information located on the bottom of the screen. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Go and be a blessing to everybody you come in contact with. I love you. I thank you for your patience, for your time, for your love, and for your commitment. I'll be back soon. Please look for more. Stay tuned to our channel, and hopefully I'll be in a city near you. God bless you.